Good morning, grade 6. Today we will be tackling about Science Quarter 1, Module 2, Lesson number 1, Separating Mixtures Through Filtering and Sieving. But before that, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button and also the notification bell. Thank you! Before anything else, we would like to give credits to the management team of the module, particularly to the Department of Education, headed of course by the Secretary Madam Lenore Magtolis Briones, also to the Undersecretary Sir Diosdado M. San Antonio, to the authors Ma'am Nancy C. N. Torres, Ma'am Judy C. Villanueva, Ma'am Jamaica B. Barcenal, and Sir Julimar D. Lestimoso, to the editor, reviewers, illustrators, layout artists, graphic artists, management team. Thank you so much for making this module so that every learners in the entire Philippines can learn the subject. In this module, you will be learning on how to separate mixtures through filtering and sieving. After going through this module, you are expected to be able to, first, identify mixtures that can be separated through filtering and sieving. You can also identify the process of separating mixtures which uses filtering and sieving, and you can use the technique in everyday life. Pero bago ang lahat ay susubukan ko muna kung meron kayong natutunan tungkol sa topic natin ngayon na filtering at sieving sa nakaraang mga leksyon. You have to write the letter of the correct answer. Magsisimula na tayo. Number 1. What method is used to separate solid impurities from water using filter in the faucet? So pag meron kayong mga faucet at nilagyan nyo ng filter, ano daw ang method na ginamit doon? A. Sieving, B. Magnetism, C. Filtering, D. Distillation. Number 2. Which material will you use if you're going to make coffee out of a grind coffee for your visitors? Kung gagawa ka ng kape, ano daw ang gagamitin mo kung ang coffee mo ay isang grind coffee? A. Filter paper, B. Colander, C. Mesh wire, D. Strainer. Number 3. This kind of technique in separating mixtures is used in separating fine sand from rocks in mixtures of sand and gravel. So pag nakita natin na may gustong maghiwalay ng sand at ng gravel, gusto niya na yung fine sand lang ang makukuha niya at yung mga rocks ay masa-separate mula sa fine sand, ano daw na process ang gagamitin natin? A. Picking, B. Sieving, C. Filtering, D. Evaporation. Okay, number 4. Divine wants to separate mixtures of cornstarch from small stones that she will be using in making maja blanca. What kind of material will she use to separate it? Okay, si Divine daw ay gagawa ng maja blanca. Gusto niyang i-separate yung cornstarch mula sa mga maliliit na mga stones. Ano daw ang gagamitin niya? A. Filter cloth, B. Towel, C. Filter paper, D. Strainer with small holes. Number 5. What separating technique will you use if you want to separate mongo seeds which mixed up with salt? Okay, nahalo daw si mongo seed at ang salt. Ano daw ang technique na gagamitin mo para ma-separate o mahiwalay natin silang dalawa? A. Filtering, B. Picking, C. Sieving, D. Magnetism. Answer. And for number 6 to number 10, you have to put F. Ilagay nyo si F kung ang technique sa pag-separate ng mixtures ay filtering. At ilagay nyo din si S kung ang technique sa pag-separate ng mixtures ay sieving. Number 6, hot water from Pancit Canton. Number 7, sand with stones. Number 8, broth from tinolang manok. Number 9, milk from grated coconut. And number 10, impurities from water. Again, isulat nyo si F kung ang mode of separating mixtures ay filtering at S naman kung sieving. Okay, so now we will be talking about how to separate mixtures through filtering and sieving. May pagkakaiba ba ang filtering sa sieving? Yan ang ating aalamin. So in building houses and other structures, we often see workers use frame wire screen to separate stones from sand before it is mixed with cement. So nakikita natin yung mga panday na gumagawa ng bahay ay gumagamit sila ng wired screen upang ma-separate nila yung mga stones mula sa mga sand before nilalagyan ng simento kasi mas matibay ang pagkasimento ng bahay pag nawala yung stone. Gumagamit sila ng mga certain materials para ma-separate yung mixture. On the other hand, carpenters love to sip coffee early in the morning before starting to work. They usually brew coffee and use cloth to filter the insoluble ground coffee from the liquid. When we talk about insoluble, ang ibig sabihin ng word na insoluble ay hindi siya natutunaw ng liquid. So may mga coffee na hindi natutunaw ng liquid, ang ginagawa lamang ng mga tao ay nilalagay nila sa cloth at isinasawsaw nila sa mainit na tubig at nakukuha nila yung coffee. So hindi natutunaw yung buto ng coffee, ngunit nakukuha nila ang katas ng coffee. So yun. These two processes of separating mixtures involve filtering and sieving that we will be discussing. So yung una, yung nagsiseparate ng sand sa stone at ang pangalawa, nagsiseparate ng coffee mula sa insoluble coffee na sa warm water ay nag-i-involve tungkol sa filtering at sieving. Ano ba ang kaibahan ng dalawang to? Yan ang ating aalamin. Okay, you have to identify the technique of separating mixtures. P for picking, W for winnowing, and S for sedimentation. Use a separate sheet of paper for your answer. Okay, sa mga sumusunod na mga mixtures, ay titingnan natin kung ano kaya ang technique na pwedeng gamitin natin sa pagkuha natin o paghiwalay natin sa dalawa. P ang ilalagay nyo kung ang gagamitin natin ay picking, W kung ang gagamitin natin ay winnowing, at S naman kung ang gagamitin natin ay sedimentation. Number 1, candies of different flavor. Number 2, rice husks from grains. Number 3, silt from water. Number 4, different books on the table. And number 5, flour from water. Again, uulitin ko, P for picking, W for winnowing, S for sedimentation. Alin kaya ang ginagamit ng mga technique sa pag-separate ng mga napangalanan nating mixtures? Okay, we will be talking about and how we are going to separate technique using the filtering and sieving technique. So, ang una nating titingnan ay ang insoluble solid na ating isa-separate gamit ang liquid. At ang pangalawa, yung dalawang solid materials na malaki yung isang particle at ang pangalawang particle ay mas maliit. So yung dalawang yan ay meron tayong kinalaman sa pag-filter at sa pag-sieving. So number 1, filtering. Solid and liquid components can be separated with the use of filter paper or filter cloth as a medium in which liquid passes through a filter paper, leaving insoluble solid materials in the medium. So pag sinabi nating filter, tatandaan natin na yung liquid at ang solid ay kailangan nating ihiwalay. So yung insoluble solid ay hiwalay natin gamit ang liquid. At gagamit tayo ng filter paper. Tatandaan natin, pag nag-filtering tayo, ang gagamitin natin ay ang filter paper or filter cloth. Filtration ay gumagamit ng solid at liquid particles para mahiwalay. Itong sieving naman is a method in which two or more components of different sizes are separated from a mixture on the basis of the difference in their sizes, which uses a sieve. Okay, ang kaibahan nila, itong sieving ay puro solid ang iyong ihihiwalay. Ang isa, mayroon dalawang particles ang isang mixture. Ang isang particle ay mas malaki at ang pangalawang particle ay mas maliit. So gusto mong ihiwalay silang dalawa para mahiwalay yung maliit na particle sa malaking particle. At gagamit tayo ng sieve. Yan ang kaibahan ng filtration at saka sieving. Based on our discussion kanina, you have to form a short information kung ano yung naintindihan nyo sa sinabi ko. Number 1, what is filtering? Number 2, what is sieving? Ngayon, alam na natin kanina kung ano yung filtering at ano yung sieving. Number 3, what material remains in the filtered cloth or paper when filtering is used to separate mixtures? Number 5, what material passes through a hole of a strainer when sieving is used to separate mixtures? And number 5, what is the difference between sieving from filtering? So ngayon, kayo na mismo ang magdi-differentiate ng sieving sa filtering. Ang nangyari kanina ay in-explain ko ano yung filtering at ano yung sieving. Ngayon, kayo na ang magbigay ng difference. Ano ba ang pagkakaiba ni sieving mula sa filtering? Okay? Now, we will be going to have an activity. Direction, isulat ninyo ang sieving or filtering. So, sieving kung sa tingin nyo, yun ang ginamit sa pag-separate ng mixture. At isulat nyo din yung filtering kung sa tingin nyo, yun ang ginamit sa pag-separate ng mixture sa mga sumusunod na mga mixtures natin. Number 1, flour from small pebbles. Number 2, mongo from baby powder. Number 3, milk from grated coconut. Number 4, dried tea leaves from hot water. Number 5, sand from water. Number 6, water from the faucet. Number 7, seeds from flour. Number 8, stones from water. Number 9, gasoline from marbles. And number 10, grind rice from pebbles. Uulitin ko, isulat ang sieving or filtering kung ano sa tingin nyo ang paraan para ma-separate natin yung mga mixtures. Kaya yan. Now, you have to complete the following by writing the answers in your science journal. Dito ko malalaman kung natutunan talaga ninyo ang pagkakaiba ng filtering sa sieving. I learned that filtering of solid and liquid mixtures can be separated with the use of, ano yung dalawang gagamitin natin, blank or blank, as a medium in which blank passes through a filter paper, leaving blank material in the medium. At ang pangalawang sentence, sieving is a method in which blank of blank sizes are separated from mixture on the basis of the blank. So para alam nyo ang sagot, balikan nyo ulit yung mga pages na mga module at nandoon ang sagot nito. Journal, write a short explanation on the following situation. Dapat alam nyo na kung ano ang tamang technique para ma-separate natin yung mga mixtures. Number 1, Kyle wanted to bake a cake for the birthday of his cousin. He found out that the flour he will be using mixed up with some dried seeds. What technique will he use and why? Okay, ito. Gustong mag-bake ni Kyle para sa birthday ng kanyang cousin. Ngunit nakita niya na yung flour or harina na gagamitin niya ay merong nakamix na mga dried seeds. Ano ang gagamitin ni Kyle na technique para mahiwalay ito at bakit? Number 2, what type of mixture will you use from when you put dried tea leaves in hot water and then put some ice cubes and sugar on it? What separating technique did you use to extract dried tea leaves from hot water? Explain why you use such technique. For your assessment, you have to choose the letter of the correct answer. Number 1, what method of separating mixtures will you use if you want to remove small shells in grind or ground coffee? So pag naghalo yung small shells at yung grind coffee natin, ano yung gagamitin natin na technique para ma-separate ito? Letter A, filtering. B, sieving. C, evaporation. D, decantation. Number 2, which of the following mixtures use filtered cloth to separate solid from a liquid extract? Ano daw yung separating technique na ginagamitan ng filtered cloth? A, flour with stones. B, powdered chalk with seeds. C, baby powder with pebbles. And D, milk from grated coconut. Number 3, in filtering technique of separating mixtures, what type of material passes through a filter paper or cloth? Ano yung material na dumadaan sa filter paper or cloth? A, liquid. B, gas. C, solid. D, plasma. Number 4. Yesha accidentally mixed the grind or ground rice that she will be using in making bibingka or rice cakes and puto with pebbles while looking for her other ingredients. How will Yesha removes the pebble from the ground rice? A. She will use filter paper to remove it. B. She will use evaporation process to remove it. C. She will use decantation process to remove it. D. She will use a sieve to remove it. Number 5. How will you separate the calamansi seeds from calamansi juice? Paano natin hiwalay si calamansi seeds mula sa calamansi juice? A. By sieving. B. By picking. C. By filtering. Or D. By sedimentation. On the next activity, you have to sort out the mixture inside the box and arrange them in their proper column. Okay, may nakikita tayong mga mixture dyan sa box natin. May 5 mixture dyan. Kayo ngayon ang mag-a-arrange dyan kung saan siya na proper column, kung paano natin siya isa-separate. Kung filtering ba, isulat mo siya sa baba ng filtering na column, or kung sieving ba siya, isulat mo siya sa baba ng sieving column. Cornstarch and beans. Alcohol and coins, tawas powder and buttons, vinegar and peanut seeds, zone rocks and coffee beans. So again, isulat niyo siya kung saan siyang column maisusulat. You have to write a short explanation on the following questions. For this is for your additional activities. Why do people attach filter to their faucets in at home? So bakit kaya naglalagay ng mga filter ang mga tao sa kanilang faucet sa bahay? Kung titingnan natin yung picture, merong faucet dyan at merong naka-attach na filter. Bakit kaya? And why is there a need to sieve the flour before baking a cake? Bakit kailangan mo natin isi-sieve yung flour bago tayo makapag-bake ng cake? Isulat ang inyong mga sagot sa inyong mga science journal. At natapos na ang isa na naman nating klase sa science module. Abangan nyo ang susunod na topic natin, lesson number 2 under module number 2 of the science grade 6. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you all.